I leave the TV on, I'm done with your sad eyes. I can take another night with you on like this. So let's go, I'm sure you can take it. You've been crying over him for a lifetime. So if you don't mind, we will dance till it's way past sleep. Another course that we can fly with the baseline. Boys be boys, ain't no excuse, babe. Now hey you, oh hey you, I know you can find someone better. Oh hey you, oh hey you.
Hello everybody and welcome back to All the Mods 9. How's your day been? Good? Let me know down in the comments below. So last episode we got into the assembly line, which allowed us to get LUV tier components to make LUV tier machines, and the most important thing was the LUV 4 amp energy hatch. So that now allows us to run any machine we want, any kind of multi-block, at ZPM tier power, like we can up here. So ZPM. I've upgraded all of the blast furnaces, all of the other like distillery and pyrolyzers, vacuum freezers, everything back here. Got the rest of the blast furnaces built. But you might notice we got ourselves a bunch of extra multi-blocks. This whole episode was supposed to be about multi-blocks, and if I've done this correctly, there should have been a little mini time lapse at the start of the episode of me building a couple of them. I think the fluid mixer and wire mills and stuff. I didn't include every single one because there was just too many of them. The time lapse would have been nearly 10 minutes long if I was to include them all. But as you can see, we got ourselves a lot of multi-blocks in here, and it is crazy. I'm going to go over them all now, and yeah, these things are just a game changer. Before we used to have single blocks, now these multi-blocks, it just makes life so much easier. Let's start off with the mixer here. Before we had ourselves 6 different mixers, 4 different circuits. I think I had an extra 2 doing circuit 1. But essentially now, the way this thing works is we got ourselves a parallelization hatch, and I'll go over this now in a second because this guy did require a new tier of circuit called a ZPM tier circuit, the quantum one. I'll go over that now in a second. I'll show you how that's being made. Up here, we have ourselves input buses. So this is extended pattern provider. These are all circuit 1 patterns, and they're all being inputted into this input bus with circuit number 1 selected. Now, there's one setting you want to make sure you turn on in here, and that's called distinct bus. If you turn this on, so right now it says no, turn it on. By default, it's like this. It's an X when you turn it on, and that will make it so this input bus will not try and search other ones for more ingredients. It's definitely important for, say, like the wire mill and the bending machine and, say, the extruding machine here for making like rods and bolts and different pipes and stuff. So it's not like, oh, I need pipes or I need rods. Oh, I also need some rings. It's not going to try and take the ingredients from the ring section and try and make more rods with it. Once it empties out of here, it's done, and it'll move on to the next recipe. So that's really good. So just make sure you turn on distinct bus. And other than that, then you can have as many input buses as you can fit on these multi-blocks. So that's pretty cool. It's like up here, I ran out of slots for all these plates. I had to add another one on, and they're both running circuit 1 up here, distinct bus enabled. So that's how this is working. Some recipes in here do require a fluid, so I have a quadruple input hatch for oxygen and mercury. That's for the mercury barium calcium cuprate dust and the indium tin barium titanium cuprate dust. 2 new materials we're going to need today. Actually, all these are new materials we need today. And for us to make the parallelization hatch, we of course needed a new tier of circuit, and that's ZPM. ZPM isn't actually that difficult to make. We just needed 2 new things. One is a new type of CPU chip, which is called a qubit. That is just made in a chemical reactor with indium gallium phosphide, nano CPU wafer, and radon gas. And then that's just cut up in the cutting machine. And the other thing we needed then was a new type of printed circuit board, the fiber reinforced one. And that is pretty simple. It's just fiber reinforced circuit board, and that is made with reinforced epoxy, which of course then is just a chemical bath with liquid epoxy and raw carbon fibers. You could also use borosilicate glass, but we already have a process for making raw carbon fibers, so why not? So just one last thing is in here, this setup is a little bit different. We got ourselves laser engravers in here, same thing with the laser engravers and distinct buses. The chemical reactor is something I had to do a bit differently. If you remember, we had some chemical reactors making ourselves wafers, and they required like liquid glowstone, vanadium, gallium, and this new one here, liquid naquata. They required a liquid and an item to be inputted into the machine. When you get a multi-block, that's not possible. And actually, I'm just going to do something different here. Actually, no, it's crafting it. Never mind, that's fine. You cannot export out fluids and items into two individual input buses at the same time. It just doesn't export. I tried everything. So the next best thing was to find a container that can hold items and fluids at the same time. And my best find was a netherite backpack with a tank upgrade. So that's just pumped down. So the part provider provides the items into the backpack. The pipe right here pulls the items across. And yeah, it just crafts it. Puts the fluid in here and items in there. And then it just gets exported out to this export bus into this part provider, which goes back into the system. And these guys here are making us our printed circuit boards, which is just amazing. So like this one down here, printed circuit board, and this one up here is just making regular old circuit boards. And I'm doing the exact same thing with the backpack in here with the assembly machine, because remember some of the coils in here, like the vanadium or the RTM ones, require liquid nichrome, liquid aluminium, liquid tungsten. Same thing in here. They just pump into a bag, goes into each individual input hatch and bus 16 times, and yeah, everything's in here. So we have a few liquids pumping in. We have polyethylene, fluoroethylene, silicon rubber, and polybenzimazole. And they're all crafting us all of our different components in here, cables and frames and casings and whatever. And then this guy here is cutting all those wafers we're making into our chips for circuits. So hopefully that explains everything. And what's the goal for today? Well, I'd like to get into ZPM tier like machinery and stuff, but I don't think that's going to be possible because we need two new materials. That is going to be trinium and naquata alloy. Naquata alloy is going to be utilizing this trinium that we get, and trinium is something you cannot mine. It shows that it like comes in an ore form and stuff, but there is no way of finding it. And if we look up trinium in here, we don't have any. I have a few patterns set up for it, but we have no trinium at all. So how do you get it? Well, if we follow the quest book in here, we need to make ourselves this stuff here called antimony trioxide. I already have a bunch of that, so that's good. Not entirely sure where I got it from, but antimony trioxide with 27k of it. If I need to make more, I think you just combine this with oxygen or something. Blast furnace stibnite with oxygen gives you that. Chemical react. Yeah, you just chemical react to get more. So since I've actually kind of done this already, because this is like, I don't know how many times I've tried to record this, because building multi-blocks is just not interesting at all. So I've already got a bit of stuff made right here. So let's go over here to the back, and this is where we're going to be setting it up. So I have a few chemical reactors right here. I have some export buses. I just need some cable and acceleration card upgrades. So bus number 1, or chemical reactor number 1, we want ourselves an input hatch. So we want to, this is export. So import bus, export, export. So you are going to be, this is a hatch. So you're going to be exporting out hydrofluoric acid. Okay. You're then going to be exporting out the antimony trioxide. Hang on. So you will export these ingredients out, and then you'll just input into the system. Hopefully this works. We should see this light up because I've already done all the maintenance and everything. Hydrofluoric acid, antimony trioxide. So yeah, inside the chemical reactor, this will make us our antimony trifluoride dust. And it'll also give the byproduct water, which I'm just trashing because I don't need to store water, since of course we have an infinite water cell. Then over here, this is the next part. You are just going to be importing in. We need to now export out hydrofluoric stuff, right? That's a bit confusing. Antimony trifluoride. Utilize this with more hydrofluoric acid, okay? And that is going to make us fluoromantonic acid. That then needs to go into another chemical reactor with naquata dust. So in here, we want to input hatch, export bus. Yeah, so we want a fluoromantonic acid, export that out, input bus, export out naquata dust, and then input the fluid into the system. I don't know if I have a cell for that. We'll find out now in a second. So do you turn online? Do you require a circuit number maybe? Oh, because there is a fluid and an item export bus, I need to probably change some things around. So say this is output bus, Let's move these down. We'll grab ourselves some quadrants, we'll export hatches, and we'll just stick this right here and see if that works. Yes, so in here we should get, does this take a while to run? 8 seconds. And I think I already have the cell set up for those. Yep, it went into the system, so that's done. And in here we have titanium trifluoride. I'm just going to use an ender chest to pump this into the system. So now using that, we want to start producing tritium. And if we look at the quest book, we need to get ourselves this stuff here, tritium sulfide dust. And that comes from centrifuging impure enriched aquata solution. So if we look up impure, we have some. So impure enriched aquata solution, we'll bookmark that. And then over here, we should have a centrifuge set up for doing fluids. Which one are you now? This guy here. So in here, we'll add in the enriched aquata solution. And I don't know if you're going to start working because you might actually have items being processed inside you at the moment. I know you should be good. And now if we look up tritium, do we have any coming in? We do. So using that tritium sulfide now, we just need to blast it with zinc. And that will make us hot tritium and zinc sulfide, which we can just electrolyze back into zinc and sulfur. Cool. So let's set up a pattern now to start using this. So you blast furnace, doesn't matter which one it does. The hot tritium then will just be cooled in a helium one, so that's fine. And we'll just stick this over here, and then we'll have to set up a pattern to crush it. And since it doesn't require any fluids, we'll stick the pattern in here and in there. Cool. So now we have tritium. Now we just need to turn it into a dust. And that's done through, can we use, it has to be normal macerator or something. So macerate you down and that should be good. Right now, our only macerator is this guy. So I'm going to temporarily use one of the single blocks that we still have set up over here. Probably should build a second macerator. Yeah, we'll use you. And okay, so now we should be able to build or craft ourselves Naquata alloy. So Naquata alloy dust, craft me 100 of it. Oh, we're still a bit short. Okay, craft me 50 of it. 40? Okay, I can craft 40. Let's see if this works. So the mixer's going. He's making osmiridium. The blast smelters should start turning on, especially that one. What's going on here? Zinc and tritium sulfide. Yeah, don't they just cook inside a... Oh, they require Naquata coils. That makes sense. I need 6 more of these. Naquata coils are fairly simple to make, so it's not too bad. Yeah, just requires a bunch of tungsten steel. And yeah, they're already being crafted. Amazing. Okay, so if I put the last coil in, it should turn on. Yay! So we're making hot tritium ingot and 2 zinc sulfide. We'll just figure that out later. Takes 20 seconds at ZPM. Not bad. That means now I'm going to have to try and upgrade all of these guys here to Naquata. But I think there's a tier above Naquata we do have access to. I think it's inside milestones. So we have Naquata tritium coil. Do we have access to this now? Enriched Naquata? Oh, we have 97k enriched Naquata. We can easily make the next tier of coils. Ah, no problem. Probably should wait till we get ZPM tier energy hatches though. But yeah, there we go. We have ourselves an Naquata alloy dust. All right, now that we have Naquata alloy, let's see what we can do with it. So in the quest book here, it says now we can make ourselves a ZPM tier machine hull. So if we look up Naquata alloy plate, let's make one of those. I think it uses one of these blast furnaces. Oh wait, does this require a Naquata tier? Okay, so I need to upgrade all these guys here to Naquata tier coils as well. Okay, how many do I have here? So I need 64 of them at least. Craft me 100 of them. We'll use them all anyway. We'll probably need more than 100. I'll see if I'm going to have enough to make the rest of these coils. I guess while we're waiting for those Naquata tier coils, let's get ourselves some other multi-blocks up and running. So I want to get myself a fluid extractor, a fluid solidifier, and I think a autoclave. I'm not too sure. So let's start off with our extraction machine. Extraction machine looks like this. So it's a 5x5 or 5x3. So we need to actually expand this part of the wall. Watertight, and then it's just built like this. Looks like it's 3 deep. And then the controller goes right here. So now utilizing that, actually let me pick it back so I can use it to see the layout. Multi-block info, it's a 3x3x5. The inside requires 2 of these steel pipe casings, and the rest then is just casing. Okay, that there, and then just cover the rest. Now, before it's finished, we wanted to remove the 2 back slots here. That's going to be for our maintenance and energy and our pattern things. Actually, remove all 3. So maintenance, paralyzation, energy, 4 amp energy converter, go in underneath here, connect to power. And actually, I made myself a backpack here that has all the tools we need for maintenance, It just makes things a lot easier than having to try and take them all out of my tool belt and then put them all back when I'm done. It just makes things a lot quicker. Now that this thing is done, so this is the extraction machine. So let's just fill back in the top here with the brick, whatever. So essentially we're just going to have an input bus and an export bus. Actually, I think it's going to be an export hatch and an input bus because we're going to be inputting items and extracting out fluids. So ME pattern there with some cable, and we'll just hook it up here. Right, so this guy is pretty much ready. So now over here at the fluid extractors, everything here is an extractor. So we just want to grab all these patterns and stick them in this machine here instead, and turn on this thing to max it out. And there we go. We're making 2 buckets of liquid aquata instead of 1 ingot worth of liquid aquata every 7 seconds. That is way faster. Okay, cool. Next multi-block, solidification array. This guy, ooh, he's actually quite big. So he's still a 5x5, but he is kind of like in a weird plus pattern. I don't know. But he's also done made with this. So we need more room. Now, does this guy have anything on the inside we need to know about? 4. Okay, so he just needs, what's that? Steel pipe casing. We need 8 of it, so stack it 2 on the inside corners and then just cover it up. Now here's the thing about the solidification array. If we have a look over here at our solidifiers, is these the only 3? It is. Okay, so we just need 1 for ingots, 1 for plates, and 1 for balls. And balls I don't even think we use anymore, so we might only need the 2. Yeah, do we even use glass balls for anything? Yeah, glass tubes are essentially useless now, so we just need 2 inputs. So ingots and plates. So 2 input hatches. You are just going to be, oh, how do I set you now to only be certain ingots and stuff? Oh, I didn't think about this. How do I do this one? Okay, the solution I ended up going for is just to make 2 solidification arrays. So this guy will do ingots and this guy here will do plates. So the last thing we want to get built now is a large electromagnet. So this shouldn't be too difficult. This goes right here, and then we just have ourselves these set up like that, I think. Let me double check. So it's only 3 blocks tall. It requires 12, which oh, it goes all the way to the bottom. Okay, that makes more sense. And then you just cover the rest in the actual casing. I think the center is hollow, right? Nope, it's solid the whole way through. Structure formed. And now we just need to stick a input bus and export bus on this guy. Like that's the maintenance hatch. We'll do it here and here. So we'll have input bus and then export bus. We'll have our pattern provider right here. And we'll just use a pipe to run the items over. And just make sure we hook it up to the network. And now that I'm looking at it, what are these guys here? This is a chemical reactor. Chemical reactor. Why aren't you working? Oh, I've turned you off. Yeah, these can go. I know we have enough sulfuric acid to last a while. And that means now there's a free P2P tunnel that we can use somewhere else if we need to. Don't know which one that was. I probably should have looked at which one. Then again, if we look at the controller, it'll show us which one's not being used. 32 max channels. Oh, 1 channel. Are we still maxed out 32 here, or is it 31 now? 32. Oh, wow. We've used up quite a few channels. Okay, we might need to stop it here and add on the P2P tunnel there. Still 32. Okay, we might need to cut it back from here. Okay, now 29. Okay, we need to go find that P2P tunnel that I just deleted and reconnect it up right here. So that will connect there, and then the cable, smaller cable, will connect there. And then this will just connect the rest. Well, this P2P tunnel said he was carrying 0 channels, so off you go. Everything here should come online. And how many channels do we have? 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, cool. So now we just need to grab the patterns out of the polarizer, which is this guy, and stick them in this pattern provider. And we've already got the extractor set up. Extraction machine. Did I even stick the patterns for you in here? I did. So that means now we don't need these guys, nor do we need the solidification array, and we don't need the polarizer. And actually, the next one we're going to do is the lathe, which is just a big cutting machine, the same one we have in here making ourselves our wafers. So looking at the shape of that thing, it's a big box. Looks like 5 by 5 by 3. And then it has like a 2 by 3 box on the side. Okay. All right. So that's the cutting machine. And the only thing we need to do essentially is come in here and change it to a lathe. And if we come in here and grab all the patterns now for the lathe, they should all just go in, right? Diamond rod with a diamond. Yeah. They should all just go in here. And that should be everything then. These ones, I don't know where these came from. Ultimate Buzz Saw Blade. I guess they also came from in here. Yeah, they're done in here with the lathe. Okay, and I don't think the lathe needs any fluids, so this thing is ready to go. Just need to connect it up to the network. And now all the Naquata coils are done. Let's go change all the coils out for each of the EBFs. Mainly just these ones here. All right, and now with that done, this guy here is now making us our hot Naquata alloy. Okay, let's see if we can get ourselves our fusion reactor. We should be able to do this. Looking at all the recipe, we should have everything for it. So if we look up fusion, I think I have the pattern ready for it. Requires liquid trinium. Yep. Everything is there available. The only thing we don't have is, of course, the data research. Now, it says we can use it in here with a data opener research station to make that. But to make this one, all we need to get is 1x indium tin barium titanium cuprite wire with a data stick inside of an IV scanner. So, indium cuprate wire, we just need one of these. Should have no problem crafting it. Our scanner is all the way at the end down here. And probably have to go through and reorganize all these machines now since we probably don't need as many of them. We just need one data stick and stick that in here, and that should craft us that. The other thing then is the fusion reactor casing. Now there is this fusion reactor glass. It doesn't... Oh, okay, so that's for the mega one, and that's in there. Okay, so we can't use the glass on the regular one. It has to just be the casing. So if we look at the reactor, or the reactor, this requires 4 superconducting coils, 16 LUV energy hatches, output hatches, and input hatches, and 79 fusion casing. So if we were to say 79 of this, make sure this doesn't require anything else. No, it doesn't. So 79, go ahead and craft. Oh, we don't have enough trinium sulfide yet. I'll see if I can go speed that up. This thing's almost done. All right, so there's our data stick of the controller. Let's see if we can speed that up. And actually, which one of these guys did I put the controller in? I can't remember. I think the controller was in its own connection. No, that's the energy hatch. I think it's this one. Nope. Must be this one then. Yes. So if I come up here, put the data stick in here, now it should craft us our controller, and everything else should work. Let's see if it crafts it. Let me see if I can figure out why we're still so low on trinium. All right, and there we go. We have everything I think we need for the fusion reactor. There was a few recipes I actually had to go in and change because there was a current issue that we're having, and I don't know how to fix it. Right now, if you remember, we're running our multi-blocks here at power of ZPM, but it says here the max recipe tier is LUV. Now, I don't know if this can go any higher. Like, do I need the ZPM energy hatch to increase this to go a bit above LUV? I don't know. So some of the recipes I had set up, for instance, the superconducting coil, was using this recipe right here. Uranium rhodium diqualinide wire with niobium titanium foil and liquid trinium. Requires 2 buckets and a ZPM tier machine. It turns out, even just to cook the uranium rhodium diqualinide wire, you do need a trinium coiled blast furnace. Yeah, and to get trinium coils, you're going to need a ZPM assembler. So I thought, oh, that's not that bad at all. We have all of these ingredients, but whenever I tried to craft one of these trinium coils, it just did not work. So like say, oh, everything goes in, we have the liquid aquata and the ingredients in here. It's not running because the machine is only stuck at LUV. I don't know how to make it go any higher. So if you know, let me know down in the comments below. So what I had to do is go in and change some of the recipes to run at a lower tier thing. So the superconducting coil actually used this recipe here, which is 32 2x indium tin barium titanium cuprite wire and 3 buckets of liquid trinium and some niobium titanium foil. This runs to LUV. So we're able to craft it doing that. And I don't know, did I have any issues running with the computer? I don't know. We made the data access connector, so I think we're okay. Don't think there was anything else in here that was particularly difficult. No. All right, so let's have a look and see if we can build this thing now, because we can get liquid europium and turn that into ingots. We'll be able to get ourselves the ZPM energy hatch. So if we scroll down here, ZPM, all we're missing now is liquid europium, and yeah, we'll be able to make ourselves our ZPM energy hatches, which will be amazing. So it also says we need fusion glass. I guess I'll just make one for the quest, because I don't know if that is required. Now, where are we going to set this up? How wide is the thing? Let's see the actual multi-block and see, can we fit it in a chunk nearby? Okay, so it's 15 by 15 from the center to center on each side. So it will fit directly in the center of a chunk, but where are we going to build it now? If we build it in the mining dimension, we don't have access to AE system. So I'm wondering, could we build it right here? To be honest, do I really care if it goes over chunk boundaries? I know it's not a good idea, but does it really matter that much? Give me a minute to see if I can figure out where to put this thing. All right, we're going to build it right here. I decided to redo this side of the base, so it's a lot different. Well, not too much. What I decided to do is to scrap the rest of like these tunnels going down. I think we have enough of just these two right here. If we need to, we can actually put more multi-blocks in this wall. But for now, I think anything beyond this line, which because this is the chunk border, is going to be anything that requires anything bigger than a chunk, especially going to be coming into like the mega fusion reactor and any other crazy multi-blocks. So let's begin by building this thing and let's see if we can do it correctly. So starting off with this inner ring, we'll probably start with the bottom ring, which is the same as the top. So it's 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and that's on the inner line here. So this one is going to be the bottom. So remove that, and this is going to be 3, 2, 1, 2. Oh wow, this thing is hard to break. Do I actually need to use a wrench to break this? I do. Oh, okay. 2, and then wait, am I building this right? Is this centered? Oh no, it's not. It's off by a block. I need to move this all down 1. All right, so that's the outer frame, or the beneath. And now if we were to look at this, is there actually anything in the center? It's hollow, but in 4 corners, we have the superconducting coils, and they're connected to the LUV input buses, or the input hatch energy hatches. Right. Oh, why is the computer on the inside? That's why I was wondering why I couldn't see it on the outside here. Okay, so it's actually on the inside somehow. But it looks like it might be able to go on any of these sides. Okay, so if that's the case, then the computer will go here. We'll have ourselves our output hatches here, like that, I think. And then in the 4 corners on these single blocks will be the superconducting coils. And then facing off of each side of these is going to be an energy hatch. Okay, if I've built this thing correctly, once I put down the controller, it should just form. I don't know why it needs 16 input hatches and 16 export hatches, but whatever. Let's see if this thing here will construct. Incomplete structure. I have 1 casing left over. I think I'm after missing something. Well, I have 2 here, but I think I'm supposed to have... Oh, right here. And it constructed. Okay, perfect. So now the thing is built, and now it needs to be filled with power. Does it actually need these extra ports? Hang on. Because it doesn't make sense to have this many export ports on it. Like, if we're just making liquid Europium, like, that's just made by using 2 fluid inputs and 1 fluid output. So could I only get away with just doing it here? So if I removed one of the bottom, it's still constructed. Okay, so it doesn't seem I need that. I just need to build more structure casing. So give me like 20 more. And why isn't this crafting? I need to go see why this isn't crafting. All right, I've got all of the ports swapped back out for a casing. And I decided to throw some glass in the front here as well. So this thing should essentially work once I start giving it power. I've hooked up all the cables here. So if I just paste the configurations onto each one of these points, start powering the interfaces. Wait, why aren't you? Okay, I don't know why all the power isn't actually going into these guys. Or is it because, oh, it's because this guy here is charging up. Okay, now that the power's full, okay, now they're charged up in here, and now I'll just turn on these ones as well, just to make sure all the power stays consistent. Okay, now with all of that, I've got myself the ME network hooked up over here. I've already got the hydrogen and liquid neodymium hooked up. Actually, speaking of that, I do need to actually craft some of this. So craft me like 1,000 buckets of it. Oh, that's not possible. How much neodymium do I have? 400k? Oh yeah, we can easily do that. Give me 1,000 buckets, 6,000 ingots, that's nothing. All right, and now if I just hook up the cable here, this should start exporting out those fluids into this thing here. And this guy should be ready to turn on. I have him disabled in here just in case. And hydrogen gas and neodymium. How much does it need to go? Only 16 millibuckets to make 16 millibuckets. And I don't know if I even have a cell for liquid Europium. I feel like I did make one, but I can't remember. And actually, now that we're down in this section here, we need to chunk load this guy. All right, let's turn it on and see what happens. Running perfectly, power is coming up, and yes, we are getting liquid Europium. And is it being sent into the system? No, it's not, meaning I don't have a cell for it. Let me go make one. So it takes 3 seconds to make a small bit of it, but now we should have it in the system. Yes, we do. And now we should be able to make ourselves the Europium ingots, right? Let's see. I don't think I have a pattern for the Europium ingot. So that in here, or actually I'm probably better off clicking it here. I think I have to use a fluid solidifier. Yep. So that pattern set up there. And I should be able to stick this over here somewhere. Is this a solidifier? It is. So pattern in here. And essentially now I can make myself liquid Europium or Europium fine wire. It's already done. Wow. Okay, so I essentially just need to leave this thing run for however long, I don't know. Yeah, just leave it run until it runs out of liquid neodymium, and I'll just craft more. Because I don't know how much liquid Europium. How much do we need for a Gregstar? 10 buckets. That's not too bad. Okay, so now using that, we should be able to get into ZPM tier stuff. And actually, I think it wants me to hold a bucket, so once that fills up, do we have time to make ourselves the ZPM energy hatch? I'll try for it. If we can, that'll be amazing. Because we can get the 4 amp one. I don't know, does the 16 amp one work the same as the 4 amp? That'd be interesting to see. Give me a moment to let some of this build up and we'll find out. Okay, so to actually upgrade to 0 point energy hatches, we do need the 0 point module voltage coil. And like I said earlier, I don't think our current assembler can actually do it since it requires ZPM. So I've made myself an elite ZPM tier assembler, and it's hooked up to a ZPM 4 amp energy converter, and it's just hooked up to power right here. Let's see if we can craft a 0 point coil, and let's make like 10 of them. It says we can do it. As a quest reward, I did get like an entire 16 bucket tank of Europium and a load of ingots and wire. So we should be able to craft 10 of these guys, no problem. Let's hope this works. This doesn't need a circuit number, does it? Circuit number 1, so in there, and yeah, it's crafting. And I think I have it set to auto eject back into the system. So yeah, we should be able to craft ourselves the energy hatch now. ZPM tier power. Now this says that, but is it actually going to run this? I don't know. Because it says minimum ZPM, but our assembly lines are only running at, well, ZPM power, but LUV tier crafting. And actually, to craft the energy hatch, I am going to need a research station. Do we have time to build that? If I go quickly, I might be able to. I'd like to get ZPM tier power, but if not, then we'll just call it there. Yeah, it looks like we're not going to be able to get all these things done today. They're going to take a while to craft, and we're just out of time. So I'm going to end it there. Next episode, we'll do the research station and see if we can upgrade things to whatever tier power, anything beyond UV. I think if we get the 16 amp energy hatch, I don't know. And if you do know why the machines aren't going above LUV, if it's just a power situation, then we'll have that fixed now next episode. So, hope you all enjoyed, and if you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and hit the notification bell while you're at it then as well. So, without any further ado, goodbye.